don't hate men. I just think that they need to understand that they are not in control and they are not the leaders.
It's okay to be a man.
It's not okay. It's necessary. What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning. This thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death. And often, literally, the gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful. You see university professors, especially of the social justice bent, they take everything they have for granted, failing to understand entirely that there's a massive infrastructure of unbelievably hardworking, solidly laboring, working-class men breaking themselves in half on a regular basis, making sure that everything that always breaks works.
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they do nothing all day.
Do we need men?
No, like, they just sit there.
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they're icky.
Yeah, probably we don't need men to protect you from anything in the world or, invent virtually all the things in human history or, create these massive civilizations and economies. Probably if they just disappeared overnight, that'd be great. And then there'd be no children also.
Apparently, we don't need men anymore.
You need men?
No. No.
No?
No.
Why?
Because we can be strong in the...
My husband, it takes a village of women to make sure that he's not emaciated, starving, and living in his own filth.
Broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless.
Do we need men?
No.
Do we need men?
Honestly, no.
Do we need men?
No.
Why?
Because they suck. How did we even get to a point in history where so many women don't even recognize the value that men bring to the table?
So one thing radical feminists believe is that women are smarter, more superior, and don't need men at all. But is this actually true? First, we need to take a look at the greater male variability hypothesis.
So this has all been proven.
By who?
It's been proven that the smartest people in the world are men.
Proven how?
So there's the bell curve, right? So men are more likely to be on the extremes. So the most stupid people on the planet are men, and the most intelligent people on the planet are men. Women are more likely inside of the middle of the deviation. So this has all been proven.
By who?
Read the study.
What study, bro?
They can belittle him instead of looking it up, but there it is. Men dominate both ends of the IQ spectrum. Same can be said for boys. They overrepresent both the low and the high extremes.
If you were to look up the highest IQs in the world, the first 10, first 20, look them up. Are they men or women? I haven't done this. Look it up.
I did highest IQ in the world. Literally what comes up. Marilyn von Savant has one of the world's highest IQs. She is known as the smartest person in the world.
Cool. Then, all right, cool. Then I'm totally wrong.
Except he's not wrong. Dave said the first female name that he saw, but if you look at the top 50 list, there are only 6 women on it, meaning 12%. Men have the other 88%, meaning they dominate the extreme side of IQ. But they also dominate the low one. It's not patriarchy, it's not sexism, it's simply truth.
The greater male variability hypothesis is the idea that males of the human species have a greater phenotype variability, making them a heterogametic sex, meaning they have a wider variety in physical, psychological, and even cognitive genetic traits. Females of the human species are considered a homogametic sex, meaning they display overall averaged traits in their phenotype. This perfectly explains why 7 of every 8 people in the top 1% on IQ tests are men. Yet men represent an almost equally large proportion of the mentally disadvantaged, especially in terms of reading and writing skills. Men are the most intelligent people in the world, and yet are also the most stupid. With this information, you can say that on average, women are smarter than men, but when asking who the smartest people in the world are, it's men. Is there a sex difference in IQ scores? This study shows that the average IQ of men is 4.6 points higher than that of women, with other studies and meta-analyses like this and this showing males have an IQ advantage of around 4 to 6 points. Sex differences on general and non-general intellectual performance reveal potential sources of STEM discrepancies. This study showed that young boys outperformed young girls in 5 different reasoning tests, and that the general factor of intelligence for young boys was about 10 IQ points higher than that of young girls, and even increases to 13 IQ points the older the child. Some articles will claim gender has nothing to do with it, and that it's actually the taller you are, the more intelligent you are. Well, even this argument shows the same thing, because who's the tallest on average? Still, men. Now let's take a look at the brain. The neocortex is the biggest part of the brain. It is responsible for higher level cognitive functions like language, reasoning, and problem solving. Neocortical neurons are what make up the neocortex. The more neocortical neurons you have, the bigger your brain is. It's been observed that male brains have about 23 billion neurocortical neurons compared to women that have about 19 billion, which is about 17% less than a man. Bigger brains are positively correlated with higher intelligence in humans, and although there is some discrepancy and no scientific consensus on the issue, what we can do is look in the real world and see who's actually using and demonstrating their intelligence. If you're still not convinced, just take a look at the top 10 most intellectually demanding jobs in the world that are all dominated by men. 91% of neurosurgeons are male. 83.4% of theoretical physicists are male. 59% of mathematicians are male. 91.8% of software engineers are male. 59% of lawyers are male. More than 70% of philosophers are male. 88.1% of chief executive officers are male. 74% of financial quantitative analysts are male. And over 90% of astronauts are male. Women have been a part of the labor force since 1964, and female participation in the labor force peaked in 1999 and has since been on a decline. DEI hiring and affirmative action were also implemented and used to hire in favor of women and minorities. They were given every privilege and every opportunity to equally partake in the workforce, and yet men will still always dominate these fields. Yet still, feminists will claim they don't need men. Feminism is a scam. Men and women are not the same. We are fundamentally different, and we need to accept the facts. Men and women are also not equal. Women are more privileged than ever before. Women do not have to fight and die in wars and never had to sign up for the military draft. A majority of welfare recipients are female. Yes, women get free money from the government, which is paid for by the taxpayers, which are mostly men, because men pay most of the taxes. This is also the case if you have a child and get divorced. You get child support from the dad, and women are way more likely to get custody. On top of that, they have access to affirmative action and DEI, which will hire women over men for no reason at all, and provide women access to higher education and better job prospects over men, giving women even more advantages. Women also have access to the easiest ways to make money literally straight from home. Women make up 70% of OnlyFans models and make on the lowest side a median income of $180 a month for literally just taking pictures. Why don't feminists push for male equality too? Or is it only women that matter? I think we all know the answer to this.
Feminism is a scam. A few years ago, I was an angry, blue-haired feminist. I once believed that male privilege was real and that I was a victim of the wage gap. Now that I understand the true motives of feminism, I know that this could not be further from the truth, and that modern-day feminism is a war on true masculinity. Before women had the right to vote, most were stay-at-home wives, which meant they weren't working jobs and couldn't be taxed. Our overlords didn't like that. Rockefeller started funding feminist campaigns in media, and as a consequence of the movement, women started started entering the workforce and leaving the home. Children would then be separated from their parents and sent to Rockefeller-funded schools to be indoctrinated by the state. All of this ultimately disrupting the family unit at its core. Feminism is defined as the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. But in the West, I must ask, what rights do men have that women don't? Modern feminists are convincing women that hookup culture, using hormonal birth control, and not shaving is liberation. That toxic masculinity is prevalent and the patriarchy must be dismantled. Through movies and media, we're taught that working for the man, climbing the corporate ladder, and paying tax is more empowering and valuable than raising the next generation. Women have lost touch with our natural loving instincts and birth rates are plummeting. Men and women are not the same. And by protesting for equality of outcome rather than opportunity, feminists are demonizing and emasculating men.